Friends, I'm super thrilled to have with me one of the most thrilling young emerging jazz artists on the scene today, the great tenor saxophonist RICO Jones. RICO and his quartet will be performing original music from his upcoming album Bloodlines at Zinc Bar, located at 82 West 3rd Street in Greenwich Village in New York City on Tuesday, that's next Tuesday, January 21st. There are only two shows, one starting at 7 p.m. and the late show starting at 9 p.m. I will leave a link in the description below where you can purchase tickets. Now, I first wrote about Jones in the September 2023 issue of the Village View. I'll also leave a link to that article in the description. RICO, great to have you back again, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
That's fantastic. Tell us more about your upcoming gig at Zinc Bar on Tuesday, the 21st of January in Greenwich Village. You're currently working with some of the best jazz musicians in the world. Who will you have playing with you on that gig?
Well, joining me on guitar is going to be Max Light, and he's a near peer of mine, one of the best young guitar players out here on the scene. He's originally from Washington, D.C., but he currently is based out of Brooklyn, and as I said, he's one of the best young guitar players. He's working with a lot of great artists. And on double bass is Joe Martin, and I've been following Joe for a long time. He's on many albums that I listened to over and over as I was coming up in the music scene, and as I said, I'm just ecstatic to get such a great bassist. In fact, this week he's working with Al Foster, Brad Maldau, and Chris Potter at Smoke.
Oh, really?
Jazz Club. Yeah, I mean,
cool.
Just like I said, one of the best top call bassists around. So I'm ecstatic to get to work with him. And on the drum chair is Nasheet Waits. Be working with such a great and dynamic drummer like Nasheet.
That's awesome, man. Now, I understand, RICO, that you are an artist on the Giant Step Arts label. Can you tell my viewers more about that label and what other artists have been released on that label, etc.?
Certainly. So, Giant Step Arts is a very unique sort of label. It's a nonprofit, and it's run by Jimmy and Dina Katz. And, they both are responsible for producing some of the best photography in the jazz world. Jimmy has shot over, hundreds of covers for Downbeat magazine and other jazz publications. He worked for the Blue Note Jazz record label and the Verve record label back in the 90s. I mean, he's if you look at the list of people he's taken photographs of, it's a who's who, everybody from Tony Bennett to Alvin Jones to George Coleman to Joe Lovano to Chris Potter to B.B. King. I mean, you name it. Not only that, but he's really just an excellent engineer, audio engineer. I mean, he's recorded hundreds and hundreds of projects in a similar way. I mean, he's really prolific, both with his photography work and with his audio engineering work. And because he has a passion for the jazz community, he started the nonprofit label Giant Step Arts. Some of the other artists that are featured on the label include Jonathan Blake, the great drummer, Mark Turner, the tenor saxophonist, also Eric Alexander, another tenor saxophone great. People like Chris Potter are on the label as sidemen. Let me think, who else? Orrin Evans, great pianist. In fact, Orrin Evans recently received a ranking as #1 jazz album of the year 2024, I should say, in the New York Times.
Didn't Nasheet work with Orrin?
Yes, Nasheet did work with Orrin. He's on that trio album.
That's fantastic. Tell us more about the other jazz musicians and luminaries you've worked with in the past. Are there any notable musicians you've worked with that we may already know?
You know, in the short career I've had, I've been in New York maybe, I suppose, close to 10 years now. I've worked with a lot of people that that I've admired on records, and I've become a part of a community of artists I've really idolized. I guess maybe most notably, I've worked a lot with former jazz messengers from Art Blakey's band, people like Philip Harper, wonderful trumpet player, Bobby Watson, a wonderful alto saxophonist, Lonnie Plaxico, excellent bass player, Essiet, another just... I've also had the opportunity to work alongside Robin Eubanks, the trombone player. We played, funny enough, we played in the Mingus Big Band, which is like, that was another dream for me to get to play with that ensemble.
Wow.
I did that. As you may know, Robin is also a jazz messenger. Other people are Jeff Tain Watts, one of the great drummers of the last several decades. Also worked with Eric Harland, one of the great drummers. David Kokoski is a great friend and mentor to me. I mean, one of the greatest piano players to ever live. Also Sylvia Cuenca, just a wonderful drummer. She worked alongside my heroes, people like Clark Terry and Joe Henderson.
That's amazing. Are you still doing the house band gig up at Minton's on Thursday night?
Unfortunately, that came to a close, but that was a several month long stint. It was excellent to just get to work at a historic club, a venue that's really in the history books, and to work there under Philip Harper was just a wonderful opportunity.
And some of the other jazz messengers, correct?
Yeah, in that ensemble, actually, I mean, it was, again, it's just one of those moments for me that felt like I was really part of the jazz community in a profound way, working under Philip Harper with other great young musicians, kind of in the vein of Art Blakey. Philip was the leader, and as I said, I was joined by a bunch of my peers, so we were really absorbing all of the information we could from Philip.
Tell us more about the songs on your new album, Bloodlines. How long did it take you to write them? And what was your writing process like to bring that album to fruition?
Sure. Well, the process, for that particular album was several years in the making. It was a collection of compositions that I had written several years prior, and they kind of came together in this sort of biographical mosaic. And the title track, Bloodlines, is something that I really like cinematic music, and I wanted there to be a sort of cinematic scope to the album that I'm sharing. But Bloodlines talks about my ancestral history. I have indigenous.
Really?
Yeah, Native American tribes and peoples from across North America and Central America, even down to South America. It's just a whole plethora of different, different bloodlines, as the album says. But
I love the featured image with the red mural. It's like perfect for that album. The way you're sitting in the lotus stance in front of your red Bloodlines graphic.
Well, thank you. That poster is something I make. I make posters just kind of for fun, and it's a good way for me to promote things. The photography in that is just very striking and
oh yeah,
for lack of a better term, iconic, because it's Jimmy Katz's work. And what I did when I was coming up with that sort of poster was I looked up aerial pictures of tributaries.
Great song, by the way, by Julian Lodge.
Oh, really? Anyway, I just tooled around with it on my phone, and I think I changed the photo to negative and then overlaid red on it, so it had that striking sort of image. And I wanted there to be sort of a symbolic imagery. And it's pretty on the nose, but I was thinking rivers and things like that in terms of bloodlines.
That's great. When is your new album, Bloodlines, scheduled to be released? And how can my listeners purchase it?
Well, I would say the best thing for the listeners to do is to give me a follow online. On Instagram, it's RICO Jones Music, RICO Jones Music. And the reason I say that is because we're in the process of having the album mixed, and at this point, we're working with a really great publicist by the name of Ann Braithwaite, and she helped produce, or not produce, but promote records, other records from the label, like Mark Turner's Live at the Village Vanguard, and that one was said to be a masterpiece in Downbeat magazine. I mean, it got really great reviews. Same thing for Orrin Evans. So at this point, we're relying on her expertise. She knows when the appropriate time to release it into the market is, but suffice it to say, it'll be sometime this year in 2025.
As soon as we hear word, I'll just leave a link in the description below for my viewers. And maybe you could also leave like some type of sample of some tracks that they can listen to.
All right, great. Another thing I'll say is a great thing about Giant Step Arts is that the masters are given to the artist, so I have complete control over the recordings.
Wow, that's
which is
very, very rare.
It's a very rare opportunity, so I'm very thankful to Jimmy and his wife Dina, who work really hard to keep the nonprofit going. And he also really pushes the artists or challenges them to keep the music up on platforms like Bandcamp, which give all the proceeds to artists. And then we're also going to make a limited run of CD pressings. So I'm hoping, if they go out like hotcakes, I'll make more and have double for people. But
are you also going to press vinyl records as well?
Well, that's a possibility. It just depends on the demand, because as I understand it, vinyl, it's quite cost prohibitive to do unless people are interested. So I'm hoping people will enjoy this art.
Have you dabbled into recordings on demand? You don't have to really hold that much inventory. You can send it out as people want to purchase them.
Do you know of any services like that?
Okay, well, we can talk about that a bit.
Great.
What is the best social media that my viewers can follow the RICO Jones Quartet?
I would say the best social media would be Instagram. Me on YouTube, I should say. I periodically post videos and recordings. Mm-hmm. That's a great way to just get live recordings of my music.
Yeah.
But otherwise, on Instagram, I frequently post when I have gigs. I make my own posters and graphics and whatnot, and I put that on my story, and I make posts on my feed about it. Fantastic.
Is there anything you'd like to say to my viewers before we hit it and quit it?
Sure. I would say that if I could be an advocate for my own music, my endeavor is to help people get into a creative, emotional mindset when I'm performing. As I said, I love cinematic music and cinematic storytelling. Mm-hmm. And my hope is that people become in touch with their emotions on a deep and intuitive level when listening to the music, if they, so choose to engage on a deep level, that is. And, I want to inspire people to invest in their own personal gifts. And I know for a fact we all have our own gifts, but it's a matter of investing in them and putting in that time. And when we do, we are able to give back to our community and enrich the lives of people we love. So,
well, I've heard your music many times, Rico, and I can attest that it tells a very deep story, and all of your tracks are very moving. I've seen you live, and I want to tell my viewers, January 21st, this Tuesday coming up, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m., the RICO Jones Quartet. You do not want to miss this performance. It will be at Zinc Bar, 82 West 3rd Street in New York City, in the heart of Greenwich Village. And you have to see these cats. They're unbelievable. They're some of the best musicians in the world. And you're going to hear some amazing original music by RICO Jones and his quartet, and with the greatest musicians in the world. Max Light on guitar, Nasheet Waits on drums, and Joe Martin on double bass. Amazing. Rico, thank you, buddy, for coming back on the show, and we look forward to catching you again with your quartet. I'll be there on Tuesday, possibly for both shows, rooting you on, and it's going to be amazing.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you, putting this out there. It means a lot to get all the support.
I have a growing contingent of jazz fans and jazz musicians that have subscribed to my channel, and they're all like asking me, like, what shows can I go to? I have to go to a show. Well, this is the show you need to go to. Look no further. One of the true original young voices in jazz right now. So you need to get your butts off your chairs, get over to Zinc Bar, 82 West 3rd Street, and you won't regret it because it's going to be stupendous. You're going to hear some of the best music out there in jazz. So I'll see you on Tuesday, buddy.
Yeah, I'll see you there. I'm really looking forward to seeing you.
Have a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye.